The biggest change, the most obvious change to the game is the 3D engine. And what it brings to the game is it just really creates this vibrant living world. You know, it's exciting, it's interesting. You can rotate around, get a kind of a better view of the situation, you know, take a look at the units. Seeing the combat is you know, a lot more interesting to watch, and you can kind of tell how well your units have done based upon like how many guys you have left in that group. It allows you to see the landscape better. It allows you to see, you know, if there's hills, you know, are those hills or are those not hills? And honestly, the big part of it is it's allowed us to create content for the game easier. Creating things for 2D, you could always create it in 3D and then make it 2D. And for the art pipeline and the actual production of the assets, it's just gone a lot smoother using 3D. So, you know, the switch, it was bound to happen. You know, we feel good about it. We're trying to, as much as possible to make it so that people with like low-end 3D cards will be able to play the game. You know, we don't want, Civ should not be this, you know, super intensive graphic intensive game that requires the highest rated 3D card out there. Some of the changes that we've made in the game to like simplify things and make it easier, like some of the smaller changes, are things like roads no longer give you commerce. So you no longer have roads on every single tile across your empire. It is they just give increase to movement. So you won't have railroads everywhere. You know that we feel like that simplifies a lot. Something a little bit bigger, a little bit more interesting is the combat system is no longer attack defense values. It's just one combat strength. It simplifies things immensely. I mean, just if a unit is, you know, an 8 strength, it's more powerful than a unit that is a 4 strength. It just, you know, simplifies things there. Things that, you know, that we've kind of changed around or added a little bit is we wanted you to control less units, but for each unit to be a lot more interesting. And part of doing that was, you know, we all like that RPG element where you've got this guy and you level him up, and so we've added to the game as promotions. So the different promotions that are available is like you can increase combat strength, medic, so your guys heal faster, commando, you can use enemy roads, all these different promotions just, you know, make each guy, you know, a little bit more interesting. Right now, there's 18 civilizations and 26 leaders. The most obvious new example of a civilization that's been added is Mali. They're, you know, pretty famous African civilization, kind of came into Egypt and threw off their economy. So we're kind of excited about getting them into the game. With the leaders, we made some changes in the sense of there's multiple leaders per civ for 9 of them. So if you're next to France, you could be dealing with like Louis XIV, or you could be dealing with Napoleon. Well, some of the benefits of religions and what they entail is the ability for you to kind of have a culture outside of your culture borders. So it kind of creates this interesting dynamic where as you research the tech tree, if you're the first person to discover a certain technology, you'll be awarded a holy city in one of your cities. And then from there, you can choose to patronize those religions. So if I, you know, really want to go with Christianity, I can build a Christian monastery. I can make Christianity my state religion. And what that does is, in cities that have Christianity, the people are happier. You start generating income. Your culture will spread faster in the holy city. And then as you build up that religion, if you have missionaries or if you have certain civic types, you can start sending your missionaries out into the world. And as you do that, as you spread your missionaries out there, they can go into a city and actually seed that religion into that city. And what that does is it creates this dynamic where people have to deal with your religion entering their empire. But also it starts giving you more money. It starts increasing the visibility of foreign cities, so you can kind of see what's going on in them if they have your religion. It just adds this new dynamic to the game that just really wasn't there before, because of the limit of, it's kind of, this is either my land or your land. And with religions, you know, it's kind of opened up this new territory where, you know, it's really nobody's land. You know, it's just kind of this belief and idea that's spreading throughout the world. So it's definitely added some really interesting things to the game. So we're looking forward to showing it off. The great people are, you know, just famous people from throughout history that spawn into the game and change the course of history. And There's great merchants, great artists, great scientists, great engineers, and great prophets. And of those 5 types, each one can have an effect on the game in various ways. You can use them to immediately discover a technology that fits within their type. You can join them to a city as kind of like a super citizen, and they're permanently joined to that city for the rest of the game. And they provide certain bonuses, like the great scientist will give additional science to that particular city. Golden Ages, there's not just one Golden Age anymore, so you can actually have combined two or more types of great people together to start these Golden Ages. So that can be pretty interesting. And finally, they all have like this super ability. So the great artists can move into a city and create a great works, which will automatically give that city 1,000 culture. So what happens is, like, if you're right on a border of like another city, an enemy city per se, and you use this great artist, it'll actually expand your culture, massively, and take over a lot of their territory. So, and that's just one example of the great people, how the effect that they're going to have on the game. Civ multiplayer has always been kind of, it's been difficult because of the length of the game. So adding the game speed, different game speeds to the game, like quick games or epic games, will allow players that have more time or less time to still be interested in playing multiplayer. What we found is that team games are what Civ really is all about. So you'll play like a 3 versus 3 versus 3 or a 4 versus 4, and what happens is that if one person starts doing poorly, it's no longer, all right, well, I don't want to be in the game anymore. They just they quit, and then you're just a man down. Now it's like, well, here's some units, oh, I just built this wonder, so we're going to share the effect of that wonder, and it's going to help you out, so you're not going to be in trouble anymore. There's all these benefits where I can go into your land and I can protect your cities if you get invaded by barbarians. So it just, it's nice to have teammates there to kind of help you out. The gameplay, it's opened up a lot as far as, you're going to find that exploration is a lot more interesting now. Like, for instance, the mini-map starts zoomed in, and as you explore, it opens up. So you no longer know exactly where you are in the world. So that makes it, that a little bit more interesting. The building aspect, as you explore, you found new cities, you expand your empire, you're going to have to build tile improvements, right? So there's like 19 tile improvements that have been added to the game. So a lot of that is figuring out how to specialize these cities and to get the optimal output that you're looking for in that particular city. So we feel like for builders, that's going to be a lot more interesting than what's been previously offered. On the military side, there's always going to be military in civilization. I mean, you're gonna need land that somebody has, or you're going to need a resource that somebody has, and diplomatic solutions aren't going to work. So you're going to have to go to war. But we're really pushing hard to make sure that those diplomatic options are there. If you're giving them technologies, if you're giving them other resources, if you're just opening your borders to them and allowing them to come through your land, that they'll be more willing to give you the things that you want, so you won't have to go to war. So in every way possible, we've been trying to not reduce the gameplay to one particular type. We don't want it to just be a war game. We don't want it to just be a builder game. We want it to be, as many types of games as, there are playing styles for, different people.